Hi, it's Melissa with my Membership Minute on Monday, March 9th, 2015. Here's what's been happening in my practice and in our community over the last week. Well, the theme of the dying warrior and the Thuatha De Danann have returned to my life. So I first talked about them in a blog that I wrote about 3 years ago here. So there's lots of blogs on our membership site. It's a very rich area of our site. So I'll go to my blog. And I believe it was one of the first blogs that I wrote. Yes, Renewing the Wounded Warrior. So if you're interested in reading that, there's the whole article. The Thuatha De Danann were wounded warriors, and these people were down and out. They had been driven from their homes. They'd lost everything. They were forlorn, hopeless, defeated, desolate, and destitute. And when you read about their story, if you read about it in my blog post, I really don't know how much worse it could have got for them. So I first wrote about them 3 years ago when I began experiencing migraines in a chronic way in my life. And as some of you may know who follow the posts on the membership site, over the last month, migraines have returned in a fierce and unrelenting way in my life. And then this past weekend, to add insult to injury, I finally got the cold that Tim and Trinity have had over the last 2 weeks. So I have a lot to say about this, and at first I didn't really know where to start, but I decided to start with the ugly because it never starts all tied up with a nice neat bow presented in a beautiful package. And I want all of you to know this who are going through difficult times. But I've had a lot of time to reflect on this, and so I can offer some perspective now, and that's why I'm sharing it with you now. But let me tell you, it hasn't been clear over the last month or so. So right now it's spring, and I know it might not feel like spring in some places on our planet right now. I know there's a lot of snow still in a lot of places, but it's still spring in the energy of things. And in spring, our liver organ is dominant. And the liver is associated with anger and frustration. If there's anything that you're angry and frustrated about and that you've been suppressing, it in your body in any way, it may rise to the surface at this time of year. So you can bet that I was really quite angry and frustrated to be in this position again. Also, in the spring, things will rise to the surface that need to be cleared out in your life. So physically, emotionally, mentally, energetically, and spiritually. So I'm sure you've all heard of spring cleaning. And on our membership site, we have a whole series of spring cleanse classes. And I'm going to show you where that is in our membership site. If you go to the Pass It Along videos, to the multi-day series section, and the direct link is in the show notes to this. There they are, spring clean retreat classes. There's a whole retreat for this too if you wanted to take a whole weekend to do a retreat on this as well. And then there's a liver class specifically if you were wanting to check that out, if you're dealing with issues of anger or frustration as well. So also with the spring, there's a return of the light in an even bigger way than there was in the winter solstice. So the days are getting even longer now. And anything that might have not been healed from the shadows in the winter will definitely be brought into the light at this time. And we also have a whole lecture on shadow work as well that I want to show you about, because that's been a big part of my healing over the last little bit as well. So if you go past down past, it's one of the lectures is one of the final things above the retreats. There's the shadow yoga for winter solstice. It's a lecture on shadow work here. And this was from our old membership site, so there's some comments there. And you just have to click here, and it will take you to that. So what I've experienced over the last little while is healing some major shadow aspects of myself. And I've healed some parts of myself that I was rejecting and I'm now able to bring into the light. And this has been quite a revealing and healing process for me. Now, I know this can be a challenging process and it needs to be done with much loving kindness. So we do also have a whole retreat on this on our membership site as well. And actually, it's kind of funny because, well, maybe not funny, but these were all things that I created back 3 years ago when I was going through this the first time. So even though you go through these things once, it's not that they're all done. And I think I even put that in the blog post. Just because you've done it once doesn't mean that you've done it completely forever. It's the onion peeling back the layers, and there's always going to be deeper and more healing that is going to happen. So there's the loving kindness retreat. And in addition to the loving kindness retreat, there's tons of guided meditations that are audio format there for you. In addition to that, we need to bring a lot of forgiveness to this practice. So we have a whole forgiveness series as well in the multi-day series section. So I'm going to show you where that is. I've gone right past it. I'm not seeing it. There it is, the forgiveness series. So I know that one of the things that I spoke about in this week's episode of Namaste Yoga on Balance is that it's not a personal reflection of failure or character defect when things don't go according to our plan in our lives. And it can get easy to judge ourselves or beat ourselves up when these kind of things happen. And so I was really touched by one of our members commenting on how much this resonated with her. And I've learned a lot. I wanted to speak about how all of you are my teachers as well. I learned so much from your comments and hearing about your experience of your yoga. And this was one of them that really touched me this week. So on the forum here, she posted in this thread, and it's right near the top. I'm actually gonna just take the link because it's one of those threads in this section and I'm not sure which one. So it was on the beginner yoga on balance, and it was Diane, and she spoke about feeling bad. And that just coming back into balance is something that we can do every day and that we really don't have to beat ourselves up about. Another thread that's been really inspiring me, and often Nicole's posts really inspire me, is because she's so honest about it and she's really in touch with her body, is in the Ask Melissa thread. And this has been a really interesting thread about really listening to our bodies. And in this one, we talked a lot about going slowly, trusting our bodies, and a lot about what I've talked about in this post today in my membership minute, which is probably the longest one I've ever done right now, but how the issues are in the tissues, and having the courage to face the emotions that come to the surface. So I talked a lot in that response to Nicole about the resources that we have on the membership site to face the issues that come to the surface on the tissues, and I've just gone into more detail in this membership minute. So all this to say that we are human beings, and when we practice yoga, things are going to come up in our lives. And when we practice yoga, we have the skills to face the things that come up in our lives. And part of being a yogi is being present to them. Noticing when things are out of balance, that we have an opportunity to heal them in the most loving and kind way. So to close, I want to know, how can we best inspire and motivate you to treat yourself with loving kindness instead of judgment when you're going through a difficult time in your life, when things are coming to the surface that need to be healed? And I want to encourage you to plug into the support of like-minded yogis from all around the world and let us know how we can help you. Being part of our community happens after my membership minute, so come on over and join in with your friends and like-minded yogis from all around the world. Here's a call to action. Respond to this video and let us know how you have let go of judgment and brought loving kindness and forgiveness to your wounded warrior. Even if you've never posted on the forum before, take a chance and respond this time. Your response is valuable, and when you take the time to respond, we all learn and grow together. I know I learned so much from each one of your posts, and it makes our community so much more vibrant. Leave a comment and be part of the conversation. Namaste.